Y'all can continue to eat, but just please limit conversations or, noise and things like that so we can everybody can hear what the panelists have to say. But thanks for being here again. Thanks for, has everybody gotten something so far or learned something? Raise your hand. Great. Just to give our panelists, they're gonna introduce themselves, but I want them to know who's in the audience. Please raise your hand if you have your own business. Great. So, a lot. It's awesome. It's not easy to take a day from your business to be here, so we really appreciate that you're here, and we're happy that you're getting something out of it. So, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, so go ahead and start.
My name is Amy Feller, and I own Roofer Chicks, and we're primarily a residential roofing contractor here in the New Braunfels area, and we go about an hour around.
I also want you to add in when you started your business.
I started by myself in 2016. Prior to that, I had a partner.
Hello, my name's Donelle Mendoza. I'm the owner and CEO of Birria Queen and Birria Seasoning Bombs. I started my business at home in 2018.
My name is Cariño Cortez-Haass, and I am third generation of La Familia Cortez restaurants. My grandfather started the company in 1941 and started with Mi Tierra Cafe in downtown San Antonio. And since then, we've grown to over 500 employees. And then another hat I wear is I am also president and CEO of Bold Bites Airport Ventures. So I have 9 locations in the San Antonio airport and soon to be another 8 of food, beverage, and retail.
You go.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I started that in 2013.
Wow. So what kind of, what advice do you have for women seeking funding? I want to start with that because I feel like that's such I think if you're not financed, you have to find a way to finance yourself or get financing. Otherwise, you cannot be in business for very long. So I want to start that way.
Okay, I'll start. So I have learned, or at least my experience has been, that to get money, you have to have money. Or at least you have to have collateral, and I didn't have a lot of that. So I got bought out by my brother, and he gave me $16,000 to start, which is not very much. And then I was blessed enough that my father lent me some money, but that was kind of a nightmare of its own because it was his retirement money, and that was very nerve-wracking because it took me a long time to be able to pay him back. I've also second mortgaged my house twice to have funds to put back into it. I closed out my 401k. I've made a lot of decisions I never thought I would make to make my business successful.
I would say also more often than not, those are the ways you get financing. One, knowing your numbers backwards and forwards, and if you don't, start talking to different, advisory agencies or bankers or people that are in your network that can explain that to you. That's extremely important, knowing your financials. And then if you, a lot of times it is doing things like cashing out 401ks or taking loans or doing these things. You hear a lot about, these angel investors and these funds, and I've yet to find one. But I'm sure they're out there. I'm always looking. But there are things like what she's saying, but also keep in mind what your North Star is. What is that goal? What you're going to earn back, how long it's going to take for you to get there. So that way you just know, it's not, you kind of mitigate the risk a little bit. You might be taking the short-term risk, but you know where you're going and the steps you're going to need to get there. But really networking and chasing those answers, really, and knowing your financials.
I would like to say, as a business that financed my own company, a lot of the times people see that their business is generating money and they want to immediately spend it. I would say Definitely, sorry, I'm a little nervous, sorry. I would say definitely reinvest into your own company. So if you see that your business is generating a little bit of money, don't go buy that purse that you want. Invest it on supplies or things that you might need.
We call that eating peanut butter sandwiches.
Or ramen.
Oh, ramen. But when my sister and we started the business, we said, okay, we're eating peanut butter sandwiches. There's no clothing budget. There's no shopping. That list of consumerism is gone. It is gone. It is put away, and it needs to be burned and then out into the atmosphere. It cannot live inside your brain. And so we said, okay, we can eat peanut butter sandwiches for 2 or 3 years. Okay, and then we got some money, and it was like, we have some money. And then the IRS took it.
I know.
Right? You had to pay tax.
Yes.
And then we got some more money. It was like, we need to hire employees.
Yeah.
And then we got some more money. And then we were like, oh, we got to get equipment. So we just said, we're going to eat peanut butter sandwiches. We're not going to get used to filet mignon right now. So, and that took a while. We're still there. COVID hit, supply chain. So you never know. Tell us about a revolving line of credit.
I do have a line of credit with my bank. It took me a long time to get that.
How long did it? I want people to really understand
So I started
how
in
important it is
2016.
and how long it takes to get there.
Probably 2020. I had $40,000 line of credit. And that sounds like a lot, but in the roofing industry, that's not a lot. And now just this year, finally, he approved it to be 85% of my accounts receivable up to $150,000. And although it's not the same thing, I do have supplier line of credits, and I could have never lived without that. And that was a big blessing to me right off the bat, because I had a really good friend that worked for ABC Supply Company, and he got me approved at a way higher rate than he ever should have done.
It was lower rate or higher threshold.
Yes, because I didn't justify that.
This is where networking is so important. And I just want to tell you, so networking is so important and having friends. But if you have a friend that has a business, this is what the impact you can have on your friend. It is a very, very big deal. So if you work for a very large company that has shock absorbers, you can actually help your friends, get their small business off the ground.
My banker is my friend too. He's my worship leader.
He better be your
from
best
my
friend.
church.
Or she better be your best friend.
Me, I actually just started a line of credit not too long ago. Like I said, I've been in business since 2018, started from home, and I didn't start my line of credit until last year. And yeah, so it's taken me a while to get there, but now that the banks see me in, big retailers like H-E-B and things, they're kind of reaching out to me. So they're like, yeah, you need to be better with your credit and things like that. So I guess every business has their beginning, but it's not something that it might happen right away. It is really important. One thing I would have done different is starting a line of credit first and foremost, so you're using the bank's money and funding rather than your own. So
I would say the same thing, to make sure, be good friends with your banker, interview banks, talk to a number of people. All of that's going to help the relationship. I think a lot of times when you're getting into business and you're putting a lot on the line, it's a little bit scary to throw your financials out there, but really having those good relationships help quite a bit, and then using it to your advantage. Just know, what am I going to use this for? How is this going to help me, increase revenue or mitigate risk? All very important, just to keep that in the back of your mind, not, I can pay myself more, or I bring this up. Have a goal on how you're going to help your business with that.
One of the things that, regarding the line of credit, or just, you better be very good friends with your banker, but it's not just giving them the financials. You want to be meeting with them a couple of times a year, maybe quarterly, to let them know what's happening trend-wise in your industry. So they know, while they're looking at your financials, maybe you're putting more, you don't have as much cash as they would like to see. Well, where are you putting that? What are the returns that they could see coming up? What's the, I'm sure there's a technical term for this, but like how long will it take to see those returns, and what are the profit margins, and like really let them know what's happening inside of your industry, the trends inside your industry. So speaking of trends inside your industry, what associations are you a part of that really have helped you network and find mentors and or scale your business?
There's so many. The Chamber of Commerce here in New Braunfels,
you can name more than one, but
yeah, I'm going to. I've been a member since 2012. I'm part of a service organization called Rotary International, and that's my favorite thing. It's awesome for networking, but also for just being a part of the community and being seen and being involved. Professional organizations, I'm a member of an organization called RCAT, which is the Roofing Contracting Association of Texas, and they do a lot with legislation and education, and they have conventions, and and there's a lot of roofing conferences and all over. It's like it's this little secret world, roofers, yeah.
I love it.
Was it hard to break into as a female?
No. The men in the industry have been just wonderful to me. They have bent over backwards trying to help me. They've been some of my greatest mentors. My brother is the one that got me going. Every once in a while, you run into somebody who's a jerk, but like
that's everywhere.
Yeah,
women can be jerks too.
Yeah.
Let's
to me,
face
it's
it,
an advantage in the industry because I stand out, and they remember me, and they like to work with me. So
yeah, we have to thank our men. Let's give a round of applause for the men in our lives.
I would say exactly the same, being a part of your local chambers of commerce events. For instance, I was just recently at the Hispanic and Latino Chambers of Commerce in San Antonio, and that was a really great event to be a part of. The Buda Small Business Summit event, just local things to be a part of, and getting to socialize with like-minded individuals really goes a long way.
Members of Restaurant Association, Visit San Antonio, which is our tourism board. A lot of what's coming to the city and travel and what our customer profile is. I stay civically engaged as far as city council, mayoral races. What else? Centro San Antonio, Downtown Alliance. I was in Leadership San Antonio. It was a cohort between the Greater Chamber and the Hispanic Chamber. And it pulls together a lot of, it's a select amount of people you have to apply, leaders from all different industries in the city and the community. And I served on the Girl Scouts board for a number of years, and that to me was a great give back. A lot of great women leaders that were training leaders of tomorrow. So that was another great organization.
I forgot a major one. There's an organization called the National Association of Women Business Owners. It's a national, obviously national, but there's a San Antonio chapter, there's an Austin chapter, they're all over the place, and it is just women business owners, and they are such a resource. And for me, it's refreshing to be around women who own businesses who aren't roofers. Like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, so what, I hope you're hearing that if whatever industry you're in and whatever business sector you're involved in, there is an association that is specific for you. And I highly, highly recommend that you get involved. And then, of course, Rotary, Chamber of Commerce. I mean, these are resources that are there for you to be a part of that help support the business, but you also can give back to the community. And the other part, it sounds like, I think in agreement that, and I want to hear how y'all handle this, but, you just have to be involved, and you really have to be involved politically. You need to know what's happening in your cities. You need to know what's happening in your towns in terms of the politics and the elections, and your state as it affects your business. And it's I mean, I know you're juggling plates and chainsaws and the hair's on fire and there's so much to handle. And you're like, are you kidding me? You're gonna ask me to do one more thing? I have to like keep up with all of that. That's why you join the associations, because they give you a newsletter. They tell you what's going on. They condense, that's their job. So it's worth the price of admission to be a member of that association for that information. And you will get back 1,000 times whatever you put into these organizations. So how do y'all handle the juggling of being a part of associations, running the business, growing the business, managing a home, kids, husbands?
Whack-a-mole, right? Is that how it goes?
Totally.
For me, with organizations, I actually asked to have dinner with a mentor here in the community because I felt like I was doing so much of this other stuff, I didn't have time to run my business. So he strongly encouraged me to pick, I think his advice was 3, which I didn't totally heed, but it helped a lot. And he said to pick a service organization, pick the chamber, which is where he was, right, and a trade organization, and to just really focus on the 3 and do that. So that helped me a lot. Also, my number 1 priority in life is to be a mom. So, I mean, it just takes precedence, within reason, but yeah.
I like that, within reason.
Go ahead.
I would say for me, being a little bit ADD all over the place and being able to wear different hats at one time is definitely a key of being all over the place. That's what works for me. But definitely prioritizing, like what you said, what's your priority? And then having like a chain of priorities is definitely how you manage things.
I also live and die by my calendar. So everything's scheduled. I look at it at the beginning of the week, on the weekend, like what does this week look like? What am I trying to accomplish? Kind of building in the support system. Similarly, being a mom is like one of my priorities. I want to be there when my kids come home from school and be at their games. And so how do I build in, backfill the other things that need to get done? Trusting a team, working with them, training them, empowering them to do tasks on your behalf, and then just understanding as far as like give back and community organizations. I kind of evaluate the year at the beginning of the year and want to know what I want to be involved with, what I want to accomplish, how does that give back to my business or myself or my priorities. And then if there's an organization that I'm passionate about, but I know I don't have the time, I'll let them know ahead of time. Like, you're gonna see me kind of dark on emails or at events, but I still wanna be engaged. And just giving them that heads up goes a long way. Yeah, it's just a lot of prioritizing, like what's gonna work and what's not, and how do you get there?
Probably communicating to your team about it, and then your family, like where.
A lot of communication.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't build my own schedule. I have somebody that builds my schedule, and I just follow it, and that helps me a lot.
I have a momager who does that for me. She's like half mom, half manager.
Yeah, I think, engaging your family, I think it's really important if you have family close by and they're willing to help to whatever extent. I would say please utilize your family. It's so much. My sister and I, we had our parents delivering things across the state sometimes. We'd load up their Suburban, and a trailer, and they would head out to do a delivery for us when we didn't have, we couldn't pay somebody to do it. So, when you were starting out, what kind of things, what would you say would you change? Is there something, one story or one event that you're like, I should have handled this differently. I would have changed this at the start.
I was torn a little bit on that. For me, I think most people, when they start their business, they start it out of excitement and they want to start something new. And for me, it wasn't like that. I started my business because my brother and I got in an argument, and it was like a divorce. And it was awful. And in hindsight, I wish I was in such a hurry to file with the Secretary of State, get the line of credit, get the bank account, like I had all these things and I only had 10 days to do it. And I didn't take good care of myself in that. And so in hindsight, I wish I would have just slowed down a little bit and paid a little bit more attention to me and what was going on with me. And the other thing, more of a business standpoint, I wish I had paid better attention to my books. I had a CPA and I trusted my CPA, and I had a bookkeeper and I trusted my bookkeeper, and they both let me down. And I am smart enough, I should have been more in there, than I was.
It's hard to say. I feel like my story is a little different. I am more of like a laid back kind of situation. So it just happened. My idea came one day and I just let it guide me. And like I said, I started my business from home. So I wasn't the type of in that mindset to be like, oh, I need this line of credit. I need that. I just took a day at a time and let like my followers grow on its own. And so if I do have to give one advice, I would maybe started my line of credit earlier than what I did.
I guess because on one business, I came in as like third generation, and then the other business I started from scratch. I guess it would be kind of to train people up to work with you. It's really difficult when you're in the weeds and you think you can just do things by yourself and do it quicker and faster and more efficiently, but it really in the long run will stress you out so much more. You're gonna have many more days where you wish you could take something off your plate and you can't. So really going in with that mindset on how to train people to come up behind you and empower them to do that, I think that would have been great help for many different times, many different years, but now I've learned how to do that.
That's
Still
smart.
learning.
Yeah, amen. Okay, this is the last question. How do you market your business? We have 3 very distinct businesses, so
I was really excited for this question,
yeah,
not gonna lie.
It was, I think it'll be interesting for everybody to hear how different marketing strategies can be.
You like how I'm adjusting? I'm like, I'm ready for this question. Okay. So I know every business is different, but that's what brought my business to, I guess, like the mainstream of like retail is because of my posting on social media. Like, social media isn't for you to be shy. Like, as you can see, I'm like super nervous. Like, I'm not a good like public speaker, and I don't like to be in front of a camera, but it's part of your job and growing your business. So as much as you don't like it, kind of like me, you have to do it because you never know who's watching and who might be interested in what you're offering. So that's very, very important. So you want to always market yourself on every platform. If you have Instagram, market your business on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, even like local grocery stores, or like the other day I was at UPS and they said, I literally talk about my business. Oh, also, that's another one. Talk about your business. Doesn't matter who you're talking to. You never know who they might know or who they might be.
You mean in person when you're
Yes,
interacting in person
So let's just
somewhere.
say you're not a big social media person. At least like word of mouth. Talk about your business like to anybody because, like I said, you never know who you're talking to. And like for instance, I was at UPS. This is just a small thing, but I was talking about my business to somebody who I was getting my forms notarized with, and she goes, "Oh, you have a small business? That's great." And I didn't say like how big or small my business was, but she was like, "We have a business board here. We have a lot of customers who come in every day, and they send their packages right here on the board. We have this huge board where you can always post your business card or information of your business." So there's so many different things that you can do to promote your business by talking to anybody about your business. So I wouldn't have known about that business board that anybody can post on if I wasn't talking about my business.
I would say the same thing. Make sure that you are the representative for your business first and foremost. I kind of take on when I go places, what are the 3 things I want to get across about my business, just so you're not talking people's, ear to death. But What's the takeaway? You never know who you're going to meet and who they might know, and who they want to connect you with. And then also, taking that coffee with someone and talking about your business and your goals. I feel like not only does it help you connect, like on a business person level to someone else, you just never know who you can help with that. Social media is huge, and also learning the new social media. It's a lot of AI, it's a lot of targeted ads, it's a lot of data insights. So kind of diving into that, and I guess just PR in general. It's a lot of, handshaking and being present and talking about your business, being on social media, all those things.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, can I add one more thing? Also, another thing, a lot of people think that you have to have all this money to market your business. You have to, have a marketing team. You have to post ads that cost money to promote your business. That's not true. Marketing is for free nowadays. All the social media platforms are free marketing. So that's another thing I wanted to mention.
My marketing is huge. I heard a few years ago somebody say that I'm not a roofing company that does marketing. I'm a marketing company that happens to do roofing. With roofing is a huge purchase. It can be $25,000 to $50,000. And if I talk to most people in this room, there's a couple of you who know that you really need a new roof. There's a couple of you. But most of you don't think you need a roof, and you never think about it. And so when we have a storm and you get water in your house or there's hail, it's a moment of panic. You think you're gonna die and you think your house is gonna cave in. And I have to be the first person that you think about when that happens. So I have to be, that's my philosophy. I have to be everywhere. I have to be in the community. I have to be active in the community. I'm on Google. I do social media. I do spend a lot of money. In our industry, the average is 8 to 12% of your gross revenue should be spent on marketing. Mine's a lot less than that, but it's a lot of work and a lot of fun.
Well, that wraps it up, everybody. Thank you, ladies, for all of your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.